Good morning, it's Joel Sakaya with a variable rate update. And of course, today was the day the Bank of Canada sets the policy rate. That policy rate increased by 50%, 0.50, which means that prime rates will be inevitably impacted. That hasn't happened yet as of press time, but that's what happens every time, so that's what's going to happen. So 0.50 is going to mean, I think the only silver lining here is that the rate increases are going down. So that's great news. At least there was talk about going 0.75 by some folks. Well, that's obviously was not a reality today. So that's good news. That perspective works out. 500,000 works out about 100. 500,000 on mortgage works about $120 extra in payment. So if you're half of that, then you're just you're into $60. And hey, look, I know none of this is perfect. I don't like it, and I'm not happy about it either. I want to share a few commentary thoughts on it. First of all, I think when we see the report that says Tiff Macklem, the Bank of Canada governor, is doing this so your family has a little bit of pain right now to save pain down the road, I think you need to know that's not true. He doesn't have your best interest in mind. He has his political future and his reputation and ego. That's all he thinks about. Doesn't sleep or think about you. He doesn't care about anything you're doing. He cares about the fact that the only lever he has, for the most part, to control inflation is rates. And he wants to look like he did that. And he doesn't care that there's a significant data that says 60% of inflation is to do with supply chain issues that will not be fixed by interest rates, and very little be fixed by interest rates. And obviously, unbeknownst to what I thought people were capable of, it seems like he is okay with doing things to change your interest rate and your family budget, irregardless of the fact that it has little effect on what he says he's trying to do. So anyway, thumbs way down for Tiff Macklem. Did you know that last year, when we talked about the idea of rates going up, the best prediction was that we would get another, that we would total 2% jump. So we start at 1.45. So our worst case scenario was we'd see people have mortgages with 3.45. That was our worst prediction. So, this is something I have to remind myself. And, a lot of my colleagues are mortgage brokers that have some similar strategy with clients. We were not, taking a variable was not a bad decision. It was the right decision with the data available, unquestionably with the data available. And secondly, I'm just saying this every week, but it just really worries me is that the number one question people ask is, should I lock in? But these are the same swamps. The same dirty people that are moving interest rates up have control over bond yields and the pricing of that and comparison rates. So the same people that are moving up variable rate mortgages in some way, moving up the Bank of Canada prime rate, intentionally have control over, how big the comparison rates are. And so this penalty situation is a big deal. It's a worse deal. As you see differences in interest rates on the prime side, you're seeing different comparison rates. And I'm very appalled at the fact that banks are getting people, encouraging at this point, people to lock in when they're at their highest that we've seen. So anyway, I think that I think that right now it's also good to remember that the prediction remains that rates will come back down, and so holding tight on your rate I think is important. I don't think it's great to have to look at your budget and reevaluate things, but I think that's inevitable at this point. I don't think you save yourself on a fixed rate. A lot of people go, if I'd had a lower fixed rate, I'd have a cheaper payment temporarily. You might have temporarily had a cheaper payment. But eventually, if rates are, if rates are higher momentarily, then you remain better on a variable, and would have been no advantage to locking in if they shoot back down. Two, if rates are now higher across the board on an ongoing basis, it just means at some point you will encounter it as well. You don't save yourself in the meantime. So anyway, you have any questions? Need help with anything? I'm here for you. Have a great day.